Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the second night of our 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, our virtual series that we're having for the second year. We are so excited that you all have decided to join us. You could be doing anything right now. And so we really are excited to get into our speaker, into our topic for today. But before we begin, I just want to say hello, how you doing? My name is Regine Walker. I am the lead for enrichment services and programs here at the Wade Edwards Learning Lab. I'm so happy to see you. Before I turn it over to our speaker, who is Cornelius Kirk, I just want to do a couple of housekeeping things. So firstly, this is a virtual setting. This is a live setting. And of course, we're hoping that everything goes well, goes perfectly. That's what we're hoping. But of course, exactly when you want it to go well, sometimes things can mess up a bit. So if there's any technical difficulties, please, we ask that you extend grace and patience toward us as we try to figure it out and get the kinks out as quickly as possible. The second thing is the chat box. We ask that you engage and discuss and ask all your questions via the chat box. Cornelius has also requested that if you have a question, you can go ahead and take yourselves off of mute. In the middle of any of his presentation, you can go ahead and ask questions during the presentation as well as afterwards. There will be a question and answer portion afterwards, but if it is burning inside of you, go ahead and get it out. Cornelius said, let's go for it. Let's discuss. He wants the students to have a voice tonight. Parents, we know that you're here as well, so feel free to engage along with us. And lastly, I just want to introduce our moderator who was here last week. Her name is Amelia Allen. She has the name moderator in all caps waving, moderator in front of her name. If there's anything going on, we ask that you be respectful and kind in the chat box. But if that is not happening, please contact or directly message the moderator and she will let me know and we will get it handled as quickly as possible. So with all that being said, I want to go head over and I want to hand it over to my friend Cornelius Kirk. Cornelius, thank you so much for joining us to talk about habit number 2, begin with the end in mind.
Ms. Walker, I have to say I'm very honored and privileged to be in front of you and all these people, many of them which I can't see, but I know that they have beautiful faces. And I'm hoping at some point, for some reason, they put their faces on the screen so I can see them. But if not, that's okay. So really quickly, first of all, I want to talk about last week. You guys talked about the habit number 1, which was being proactive with my great friend, Greer Webb. And who wants to follow Greer? I don't, but I'm here. So really excited about the work that young man is doing. And I hope that everybody on this screen understands that they have that same level of greatness. Tell you a little bit about myself really quick, and then we'll get into the chapter 2. My name is Cornelius Kirk. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have a brand called You Matter, which you can see it on my shirt and you can see it on the screen behind me. And I partner with community services, or a lot of partnerships I do is with schools and students. And my goal is just one thing, and that's to make sure that every person I meet understands their inner value, their human value, their voice, that they're priceless, that they actually matter on this planet, and they don't have to earn it. They already have it. And it's up to them to always understand that. So that's the work I do. I do a lot of mentoring within the Wake County Public Schools. Most of it is centered around young men, helping them become better functioning middle schoolers and high schoolers, and having open conversations, because I believe that one conversation can change our lives. So that's what I do. If you have questions on any of that as we talk, just go ahead and drop it in the chat and I will answer it. I actually went and got my old book that I've had for about 15 years. Yeah, I've read this like 5 or 6 times, and I dusted it off and I read chapter 2, which is begin with the end in mind. And to be honest, my favorite 2 chapters are habit number 5, which is seek first to understand and be understood, and habit number 6, which is synergy. So We're not talking about those tonight, but I just wanted you to know which ones I love. But I'm going to share my screen now and we'll get started. So as we talk about habit number two, which is begin with the end in mind. As you can see on my screen, new habits. The first thing I typed was your voice matters, your input matters, and together we are all better. When I think of habits, I think of things that I use in my life to be a success. And sometimes in my olden days, I wasn't very good at being disciplined enough to use the right habits to bring the level of success that I wanted to in my life. That's not the person I am today, but new habits are very important. And so as we talk about habits, I want you to think about in your personal life, what success looks like to you. I asked a group this earlier this week, and I asked them what their definition of success was. And they gave me three things: money, power, and beauty. So I want to ask this group the same thing. If you would love to use your chat and just give me a definition of what success looks like for you. It can be a word or it can be a sentence, but you can never be successful if you don't define what success looks like in your personal life. Let's move on to slide 2. I believe that life is a lot like this chessboard. As you look at it, when you think about playing chess, you think about picking up the pieces and moving them over and trying to beat your opponent. But chess is a little bit more than that. It's a strategy. It's a game of strategy. It's a game that you're supposed to think 4 moves ahead before you move. And I believe that when you begin with an end in mind, that's exactly what you're doing in life. You want to think about all of your moves and have a strategy for why you do what you do. What I found out when I failed the most in my life, and I don't really believe in failure, I believe in opportunities and lessons. But when I failed the most is when I didn't have a plan. I just went out into my day and I just said, hey, whatever happens, happens. And usually I didn't do very well in those days. But I also want to thank each of you because I think we're going to be on here for about an hour. Is that correct?
It's about 30 minutes.
All right, cool. So when we talk about your time, I want you to really know something. It is the most important thing that you own. Because the moment you spend 1 minute of your time, I don't care how amazing you are, and I've already told you how great you guys are, you can't get it back. So I'm very intentional about my time, so much that I know how much time is in every day, which is 1,440 minutes. I know how much of that is each percent. So let's break that down really quick and we'll move on. 15 minutes is 1% of your day. I want you to break down your time moving forward in your life that way and use it in a way that is not wasteful, because we all get the same amount of time. I don't care where you were born. I don't care how much money your family has. I don't care your GPA. I don't care how many degrees you have. You get the same amount of time as everyone else. So as we talk about the end, beginning with the end in mind, here is a clear breakdown of what it should look like for me and you. The number one thing is set a goal. Set a goal for something that you want in your life. That can also be said to make a plan. They say that if you fail to make a plan, usually you'll never get there. The next thing you do is when you do those two things, you get to work. You start working on your plan. You get to work. You get up at 5 a.m. in the morning like I do, and you get to work. Maybe some of you don't get up that early. I know, I get it. The next thing you do is when you make a plan is you stick to it. This is a sticky note on the screen. You stick to it, because what's going to happen is you're going to make these perfect plans. You're going to write them down in your journal, on a vision board, or on paper, or wherever you put them. And guess what's going to happen? They're not going to happen the way you write them down. But you're going to rewrite them. You're going to figure it out a different way, but you're going to stick to it, because whatever you wrote down is what you want your life to look like. And the last thing you're going to do is you're going to reach that goal. Now, if you look at the last sticky note, it's a smiling face. But I want to put one thing in here that I didn't put on here, is that once you reach that goal, now it's a chance to start a new goal. because we don't want to ever be complacent. We always want to have new goals flowing in our lives. And so I have a question for you guys at the bottom of the page. If you'll put the answer in the chat, what percent of people do you guys think actually set goals for their lives? And I'll pause for about 30 seconds. So a couple of the comments as I'll read in the chat so I don't miss anybody. I see the word joy, which is one of my favorite words. It makes me think of the color yellow. I'm not sure why, but it just does. Well-being, so important. Well-being is such an amazing word. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, well-being, whole person. Making a difference in the world is one of my favorite mantras ever. And I believe that it's not about the big things. You know, you see people who are doing these big things in our world, right? But I think making a difference could be simply a compliment. It can be holding the door for somebody. It could be picking up trash from in front of your house or in front of your school or wherever you see trash. So I believe making a difference is just the little things done on a daily basis. Legacy, an amazing word, which is definitely about the end in thinking about the end in mind, because your legacy is what they'll say about you when you are gone. And that started a long time ago. So keep that in mind. Success is proving yourself. I would agree. Success is being happy. I would agree. Achievement is one thing I see as success. Absolutely. Being satisfied with yourself based on your own standards, not society. That's a mic drop. Being satisfied with yourself, not society. Mic drop moment. Your time is your most important thing you own. It truly is. It's not replaceable. Goals need to be flexible sometimes. Absolutely. You can write it in pencil. You don't like the goal, you erase it and you write a new one. Nobody's counting. It's only we have an answer that says 50%. Okay, we'll see where that goes. We have an answer that says 25, 40, 35, 20, 25, 20, 50, 40. I'd say 50% is a fair. I'd say 30%. Well, let's see who was right. I think I know what the answer is. Wow. 3%. 3% can actually go to their goals, and they actually, like this right here, they have them written down. Only 3 people out of 100 has their goals written down. Wow. They say that the other 97% work for those 3% of people. Maybe we want to write our goals down after we're done with this workshop. Very simple. Absolutely. Let me go back to the chat. That is actually shocking. It is so true and so easy to write down. As we talk about our goals, our lives, our legacies, beginning with the end in mind, I had to think of a GPS. Has anybody ever used a GPS to get somewhere? I have. It asks for 2 things. It asks for where you are, and it asks for where you want to go. If either one of those things aren't put in that GPS, you'll never get to where you want to get. I love this image because there's a lot of people on our planet that are walking around unhappy, but they never put their destination in their life GPS, and they're wondering why they never arrived. I just want to tap them on their shoulder and say, hey, you still have time. Go find your life GPS, no matter what your age is, no matter what classes you failed, no matter how much money your family has, no matter the color of your skin, your gender, and all those things we're talking about in this world. It doesn't matter. You have greatness inside, and you can keep pushing, and you can get the things you want in your life, no matter your start. So keep that in mind. Let me make sure I don't miss anything. I'm going to check the chat every time, by the way. And that's a huge difference. It's so true. We talk about tools. Well, this is one of the, spiders. I don't like spiders. I know where that came from. So we talk about tools. Well, what are the tools that we need to use to get to the places we want to go. We've written our goals down. We're out here trying to get them on. Well, for me, there's two things. We start with first the mental side of what you do in your life. I sit at home sometimes and I just daydream. I just picture things. Like, for instance, if I say I want a new car, which I don't, but if say I do, I want a Tesla. Well, I want a white Tesla with 4 doors. Okay, cool. Well, what kind of leather do you want on the inside? I close my eyes and I picture black leather. I picture black rims. I literally picture that car, me driving it. I picture it so vividly that I feel like I'm driving. That's called visualization. And no matter who you are, where you are, no matter what's going on in your life, no one can take that power away from you. You can always close your mind, your eyes, and see something that's in the world. It reminds me of a story of a friend of mine named Nelson Mandela. He's actually voted the most amazing leader to ever live. And he was in prison for 27 years in South Africa for all the wrong reasons. But one thing he said is he kept seeing people in prison with him die. And he said the reason why he never died was because he used visualization and saw himself out of the prison. So that was one tool that Nelson Mandela used to not let them take his power away in the physical, because he knew they couldn't take his mental away. This is a power that you and we all have it, and we can use it, and we should use it at any time. So I want you to picture yourself in a classroom, or this last 18 months maybe, has been bonkers. I'm 47 and I didn't know what to do half the time. So I totally understand when you're 15 or 16 or 17 and you got ripped out of your life and had to figure it out. Very uncertain times. But I want to remind you, first of all, kudos to you for keeping a positive attitude and just saying, yo, I'm going to push through this. I'm going to figure it out. Like tomorrow's going to be an amazing day, whether I'm at home on Zoom or I'm in class, whether my whole family's home and it's a little uncomfortable, all the stuff that we all dealt with. The thought I want to leave you with on that is life truly, so you know, is always uncertain. Sometimes it feels a little safe, but we never know what's coming. And so that's so important to have, like it says right here, number one, our mental space in a balanced state, and then our physical space. So last thing, when you look at this telescope, I want you to think out, you're looking out. I wonder what you could see and how far you could see by simply looking in that telescope. Definitely works. What a great example, Life GPS. Yes, I use my Life GPS every day. So in the book, there was a topic that said design or default. And I want each of you to think about a new home being built. And I'm actually going to give each one of you a brand new home. But the problem is I'm not a builder. So would you rather me use a blueprint like on the screen, or would you rather me by default just go out there and start building it? Which house would you pick? Well, it's kind of funny. You can go ahead and type in the chat if you want which house you'd rather have. The one that's built by blueprint like these, or the one that is just like thrown together. And I'll give you the keys and I say, hey, I'm done. Well, it's kind of weird, but do you know that there's a lot of people, probably, maybe some of you, that's okay. Maybe some of your friends and family members that actually live by default. And what that means is you just let life happen to you. Right? You set no plans, you set no goals, you have no blueprint, and then you go out into life, and life, actually, I've done this, so I know what it does. It does this. It smacks you across the head, and you're going, whoa, what is that? That's called default. What I prefer to do, right, is design my life. And that way I do that is by sitting down every day with my goals. I look at them. I have sticky notes on my mirrors at home. I have sticky notes in my car with all these reminders of where I want to go and who I am as a person. So that's the tool I use. Blueprint, definitely blueprint. I love it. Do blueprint. I don't know where you guys want to go from high school, whether you want to do trade school or college or be an entrepreneur, whatever you want to do, that's up to you. But you will not ever be successful truly successful. And not only successful, when I say successful, I mean sustainable success, not like you won one game. I mean, like you won for 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, and you would have to have a blueprint to do that. So thank you for that. So let's get to work. What do we do? Now you brought up this design thing, Mr. Kirk. Can you give us how do we do this? Like you just throw it at us. Well, you don't dance like this. You don't do this. This won't work. But I thought it was funny, so I put it on there. In the book, it talks about rescripting. I want you to think about most of your life has probably been kind of script, like been given to you, like, right? I want you to be in a movie, but you don't get to pick the character. You have to be the character that the director said you would be. Now, since you're young, the director is probably your parents. The director might be your principal at school. The director might be your teachers at school. And I get that. That's part of life. But there's going to come a point really soon where those people won't be in charge of your decisions, and it's going to be 100% up to you. And so you'll have to maybe rescript some of the things that maybe don't align with where you want to go after you're 18, right? And some people do that, some don't, and that's up to you. But with me, if you would, wherever you are, unless you're driving, we're going to go do like my friend is for anything that's happened in our life that we're ready to rescript. It's not staying anymore. We're done with it. Whether it's choices we made that, man, I shouldn't have made that choice. I'm texting and driving. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm hanging with some friends, which we'll talk about later, that just don't align with who I am now. So let's go ahead and boom, let's blow it up together, because it's time for you to rescript your life and get back to where you want to be. So now that we're rescripting, where do we go from here? We have a comment in the chat that I want to read out loud. Christian says, you can always destroy failed plans and rebuild and rescript new ones like an angry bird, as seen here. Spot on. Sometimes we get in our heads. Are you guys like me sometimes where you hear a voice in your head telling you that you're not enough, that you're a bad person, that the things that you did, just that's who you are and you can't get away from it? My head tells me that. And I tell my head all the time, be quiet. That is not me, right? And I have that power and I do it all the time. So I don't know if that's just me or that's something that we all do, but I got tired of my head telling me who I was and I took back my control, and I asked you to all do the same thing. Okay. Sorry about that. In the book, oh, this is great. I really want you guys to think about this. Every company that you buy from, whether it's Nike or Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, I don't know where else you guys shop, Target, Walmart, TJ Maxx, and on and on and on. Even TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, Zoom, they all have mission statements. And I'll read this one out loud. Since you're not a business, it would be a personal mission statement for you. And that means a personal mission statement becomes the DNA for every other decision you and I make. So my personal mission statement is to leave everything that I touch or experience better than I found it. Simple, right? So then I ask myself, will the next decision that I'm gonna make, will it align with my personal mission statement that's right here, which is, am I leaving it better? So for instance, if I meet somebody and they're treating me bad, I have a choice, and it would be either to equally treat them bad or to not. And I don't believe in treating people bad. So even though somebody may be treating me bad, I don't treat them that way. I either walk away or I whisper and just say, hey, that's not the kind of person I am. You know what? I like to love people and I care about people, and I'm just not going to argue with you. And so if we can't come to an understanding, then boom, I'm out. Because it aligns with my personal mission statement. What about you guys? How do you personally decide what you're going to do throughout your daily? Do you just like show up? Like, do you have a creed, a code of conduct? What do you use to say, hey, that doesn't align with who I am, right? Those kids that, and we can be honest, high school, sometimes I don't really believe in good or bad. I believe we all have good or bad in us, and we're always deciding which one we're going to choose, right? There's sometimes where Mr. Kirk is not being very good, and I don't know why, and then I have to like snap out of it, right? Because I'm human. Now, I want you all to say that back to me. I am human. And what that means is I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, right? I can sometimes be moody. My kids call me moody sometimes. Well, sometimes I'm moody, right? And so I just want to remind you that you can seriously write down, and this may take months for you to do, because you can just start writing down maybe some of the things that are really important to you and what you want your life to look like. And we talk about the beginning with the end in mind, is if you have a mission statement, you can always look back like maybe once a month and say, wait a minute, there's like 7 or 8 things that I did last month that don't align with what my mission statement says. That maybe that's why I'm unhappy. Maybe that's why I've lost friends. Maybe that's why I got fired from my job. Maybe that's why me and my parents are doing this all the time at home, right? Maybe that's why me and my teachers aren't connecting to the level that I need to connect with them so that I can get to where I need to go in my life. So those are the kind of things we want to talk about. In the chat, I see I am human. I want you guys to remember that. Now, it doesn't free you from making the same mistake 1,000 times and just saying, well, I'm human. When I say I'm human, I'm passing on grace to say we sometimes make mistakes, and I don't even call them mistakes anymore. I call them lessons, and life is full of lessons. This last 18 months during this pandemic and this COVID and mask and not mask and all of the things, there's been so many lessons. We'd love to hear if any of you want to share any of the lessons that you learned this year that you're going to take with you on your life journey. All right. How do we make our mission statement? Like, what do we put in there? Well, I believe in core values. And when I think of core, I think of middle, right? Center, foundation. Like, you can't build a house without a foundation. If there's a house and it doesn't have a brick foundation underneath it, it's going to collapse. So I don't want my life to collapse, and I for sure don't want any of your lives to collapse. So we need core values. When you see people who have maybe done some things that aren't great in life, or that we've labeled as not being great, I bet you they're not really looking at their core values in the moment and making decisions based on their core values. So let's talk about it really quick. I've just shown you 5, which number 1 is excellence. And I call it ICE, I-C-E. I choose excellence. And that's my number 1. And that's I choose excellence for everything I do. I get up in the morning and I make my bed with excellence. I brush my teeth with excellence. I iron my clothes. I talk to people. I walk with excellence. Just everything I do is centered around that word. And I believe it. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But since I'm so focused on it, I get so much closer to having that kind of layer in my life. And I'm giving it so you guys can do the same thing. Number 2 is respect. I personally despise disrespect. I do not accept disrespect. I don't let people disrespect me. I always speak up. That's just who I am. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what I do. But the reason why I don't like disrespect, if I can share, is because I don't disrespect other people. And I equally want that back in my life. Sometimes people disrespect me and you know, I don't, in different ways. And I kindly just say, hey, that's not the way I treat people. And I would really like it if you didn't treat me like that. And I just say, hey, we're good. And if not, I keep it to moving. But that's just one of the things I do. Number 3 is integrity. Does anybody know what integrity means? I'll leave you about 15 seconds to type in the chat if you want before I give you the answer. Autumn says being honest. Got one there. We have Ms. Walker says strong morals. Amelia says honesty, staying true to yourself. Your principles, upholding your principles despite what's happening around you. Ooh, Ricardo, my friend. Yes. What's happening around you? Chaos is happening. It's going on. School fights. Am I running to the school fight like we used to do? Am I running to the school fight or am I running away from it? Right? Well, excellence wouldn't be running to the fight and recording like we do in school sometimes. I wouldn't do that. So yes, thanks for sharing that. Upholding your principles. Yes, I love it. Integrity, be true, honesty, maybe making your own decisions. Yes, Joey. Yes, thank you. Andrew, thank you. Ricardo, thank you. Oh, let me go back up here though. Autumn added, Autumn added the bonus. The bonus is even when no one is watching you, right? Even when no one's with you, you're by yourself, right? You find a wallet. Like I've had this happen. I found a wallet with it was a thick wallet and it had cash in it. And your boy was broke at the time. I'm gonna be honest. I needed some funds. I needed some money. It had credit cards in it. It had all that in it. And I picked it up and I was like, opened it up, number hundreds. The old me, the younger me, if I can be honest for a second, no judgment in the room, I'm in a safe space. The younger me might have kept it because that's the environment that I grew up in. But when I adopted new core values and principles, which integrity was one, it let me know that that wasn't my wallet. I couldn't take it. I turned it in. Whether I got a reward or not, that didn't matter. It wasn't my wallet. It wasn't my money. I could not take it and look at myself in the mirror. So I turned it in. I only give that as an example because I really believe that in our world, a lot of it stems from this word, integrity. Like, I'm not ever taking somebody else's things. First of all, if you take it, understand this. If I would have taken the money and spent 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever it was in the wallet, whatever I bought, in my opinion, would have been cursed, right? I really believe it would have been cursed like a bad movie and it would have just messed up in my life, right? And I would have had way more losses than what I bought. But here or there, I just believe in people and that was somebody's wallet and I wanted to return it. And that's my definition of integrity. All right. Act like somebody is with you at all times and they can see everything you do. And probably, I bet you, it'll keep you from doing half of the things that you do by yourself. And then in the morning, getting up and saying, I wish I hadn't done that. So something to think about. Number 4 is individuality. And I love this word. And I love this word. And I'll talk about it later a little bit, but I love this word. I love this word. So powerful. And number 5 is creativity. And that's just my words, but totally up to you guys and how you look at it. But each of you, I want you to know, has this inside, this creator, right? And you might be like, no, I'm not a creator. Yeah, you are, right? Yeah, you are. Sometimes you may not feel like it. To be a great creator, you got to be in a good environment, right? So for me, like, I don't really like outside, so I don't go outside and create. I like to create where the walls have my favorite colors on them and stuff like that, and I feel good, and I can create whatever I want. All of you have this inside of you. Don't ever let anybody tell you you don't. So, beginning with the end in mind, I'm just like, man, all this information, like we've done personal mission statements, right? You're writing that down wherever you are, unless you're driving. And not texting. You're not on social media because you're watching and you're engaging. I appreciate all that. And you've written down your goals, right? You set your plans for your life. You're visualizing it. You're just looking at it like, man, I'm going to be the bomb.com because I'm different from the other 97% of people because I have goals. So now I know which way my life is going and I just got to keep going. And here's the thing about goals that I didn't tell you. Don't put a time limit on it. Most people will tell you a time limit. If these goals are what you really want in your life, write the word until and circle it. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes until I get there. Now, the only person that can change your goals, maybe you, maybe a mentor, a trusted advisor, your parents. I want to jump into parents really quick for a quick second. Shout out to any parent that's watching. I have 4 children of my own. I didn't share that. 28-year-old. 25-year-old, 24-year-old, 20-year-old. So they're grown, but just so you know that's never a thing. But what I say to that is that I had my first child at 19, which I believe was a little bit early, but I was figuring parenting out. I want you all to know, whoever your parents are, however that situation is, they are doing the best they know how. It is not the easiest thing to be a parent, to be a teacher, to be a leader. So just know that they're probably doing the best they know how, and give them a break sometimes, right? Make your bed before they ask you to. Take the trash out, wash the dishes, because I'm promising you, being a parent is not the easiest thing, and you'll realize this when you have kids. I promise it'll be really quick. So, any questions so far, and then we'll move to the next thing. Anybody know what movie this is from? Anybody? No, I know none of you know. I know what movie it's from. Uh-oh, we got to answer. Christian says Finding Nemo. Joey says Nemo. Yes, it's one of my favorite movies. I love kids' movies. Some of the best lessons are in movies like Nemo and Lion King and Shrek. I've watched them all. Like I watch it, and I'm old, and I still watch them all. So yeah, I like Nemo. I love Nemo. Let's talk about this topic really quick. We have a few minutes left. Friends. Ooh-wee. You should be, I want everybody on here to be doing like this, blowing your hand. Friends. What are they? How do we pick them? How do we pick our friends? I'm assuming most of you are in high school on here. Some of the adults on here. I'll tell you this. Number one is they can't all go with you. You're going to have friends from, like, think about middle school, elementary, you had friends. Then you went to middle school and you had new friends. Then you went to high school and you had new friends. Then you go to college or life or however that looks for you, and you'll have new friends. This is such an important topic. There are a lot of people who have really had some challenges in life simply because of the people they allowed, keyword, allowed, in their circle, right? And one of the tools I use for my friends is I do what I call checkpoints. About every 6 months, I write a list down of all my friends. And I look at it, and I look at how it makes me feel. And I ask myself, are these people all still going kind of in the direction I'm going? Because if I'm going east and they're going west and we're in one car, the car gets ripped apart, right? It's not possible. Well, it's funny, but I bet you there's people on this call that have friends that, and I hate to say this, that you've outgrown. Not because they're bad people. They're not bad people, right? They're just not going where you're going. And sometimes it may make you feel bad about it, but it's okay. It's okay. And you don't have to treat them bad, but you simply maybe just don't hang out as much. Maybe they're partying or something, and they're drinking or smoking or doing drugs, and all the stuff that's out there that let's be honest, can be really bad and really mess your life up. Maybe they're doing that, and you know that's not who you are. Those can't be your friends. I'm sorry. Now, here's one tool you can use that I use as an adult. I can say, hey, I want you to know, man, I rock with you. You're my peoples. I want you to go with me. But this is the place I'm going, and that kind of thing can't go. If they change their behavior and they can go, they're good. If they don't, hey, I text them or call once in a while, check on them and their family, but I have to do what's best for me. And I urge each person on this call to really be mindful of who you let in your circle, right? I'm serious. That's dating, that's relationships. Truly, all these things matter and can really get you off that great path you're supposed to be on. So, friends, they can't all go. Yes, this is somebody down here crying in the right-hand corner, but it's just a fact. Tell me if I'm wrong. Pixar and animated movies, yes. Finding Dory, yes. I love Nemo's and Cars, yes. Friends. So, a couple of things I want to leave you with as we wind down. Please own this narrative, is what it says at top. Now, this is important. Wow. You should be doing this. I want you to find yourself a mirror and say, there's no one, and there will never be anyone like me. There's not another person on the planet. There's 7.7 or 8 billion people walking around our earth, and there's not one person like you. Why that's important is because why would I change? Like, this is how I was made. My skin color, my complexion, the way I talk, the way I look, all the things that's me. and nobody else has it. It's actually my superpower. You know what I love about it is you have the same thing. So why would you go act like someone else? Why would your behavior try to be like someone else? Why would you worry about anything like that? If you're made like you are, some of the reasons why I think people fail in life is because they act like other people, and everything they're supposed to have is where they're supposed to be. And they just don't get it because they're not where they're supposed to be, because they don't feel valuable. Well, I just gave you the most powerful thing that can be valuable, is that there's nobody else like you. So when you walk in the room, please be you. You have to be the main character in your life, not an extra. Let me say that again. You are the main character in your life movie. You're not an extra. Extra don't get to talk in the movie, they just stand there. You're the main character. I'm telling you, if you just adopt these kind of things, it will change your life. Strong quote. Thank you, Miss Walker. Let's move to the next thing and we'll end up. Ooh, oh, I want to ask each of you, where are you? You can only live in one of these three places. You can be in yesterday, which is gone, and you can't change anything that happened. You can learn from it. You can be in tomorrow, which doesn't even exist yet. It doesn't exist. Or you can be right here in today, right? All 24 hours of it, highly present, doing what you need to do today is the actual path that will be about beginning with the end in mind. It will get you everything you need. I know what I want in my future, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about right now. I know what I messed up on yesterday. I know what worked yesterday, but actually what worked yesterday may not work today. All right. So we have a quote in the chat. Let me see what's going on in the chat. I can easily stay in yesterday. Great reminder. Right. Right. Oh man. Especially when yesterday was a good day. Right. No, we gotta show up every day. Celebrate a little bit. I don't even believe in celebrating. I'm really quiet when I win. I just win because I expect to win. So when I win, it's not really a big deal because I expect to win. I'm great. And so are all you. So I hope you all expect to win too.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kirk. I mean, you hit on everything that we wanted to talk. All of my questions, you hit on them. So I'm like, what to even ask? This is the question. Yes, someone said great presentation. Yes, definitely. This is the portion where we typically ask questions. This is time, the end of the time that we said that we would be here, but we're going to stay a little bit to that way we get to everyone's questions. If anybody has a question, Mr. Kirk is a wealth of encouragement and knowledge and information. So I don't think you want to miss this. If you want to ask a question, go ahead because we have him here right now. I'm going to start us off, and this will be probably, if you guys don't have a question, this will be it. But Mr. Kirk, what do you think are the key success factors when goal setting? I was very surprised to see that it was 3% of people in the world, or wherever that statistic was from. 3% is still small. 3% of people actually set goals. So what are the key success factors? How can we be successful?
One thing that I think people fail to do is know who they are. So I can't set goals in my life if I don't know who I am. So I spend a tremendous amount of time personally with myself, right? Being quiet, being still, and really, really paying attention to my emotions, like what's important to me, right? And so I believe success is truly knowing who you are. Now, with that, we live in a capitalistic society, so we have to have money. Well, there's a number attached to the kind of lifestyle I want. Well, I write that down, and I'm very detailed with my goals, right? And so I just think knowing who you are and being very detailed.
Thank you so much. I guess that is all the questions that we have. Is there anything that you would like for teens to take with them from your presentation? I know that you gave us a lot of information, so I don't even know what you're going to say, but if you could just sum it all up in a ball, what would you give to us as encouragement for tonight?
Very easy and simple. The world needs you. People are going to be counting on you for the rest of your life. and you have all of the tools already equipped inside you. So before you run out into the world and try to find things that make you happy, just know that you already have everything you need inside of you. And if you tap into that, I'm promising you, life is pretty much at your leisure, right? It's all about, being in the moment and being happy with what you have, and you have it all. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kirk. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. Of course, this, like I said for last week, this is just the beginning. So join us again on Thursday at 6:30 for habit number 3, put first things first. We are really excited to be doing this series again, and especially in this kind of live setting. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you soon. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
So